Hey, welcome to Spartan Café. This is the Spartan Standard, where Main Street meets Wall Street. I'm Mark R. Moore, and with me, my co-host Harold Marcelin. Today, we're featuring Devora Wooden, proud,
Hey.
proud, proud Spartan Café member and brand manager for DSW. Once upon a time, DSW agency, now it's DSW Strategies. In the lifestyle architect, where strategy meets style.
That's right.
With that, we're going to be featuring this amazing woman here, Devora Wooden. She's going to talk to us. She's going to engage. She's going to empower us, enlighten us, inspire us.
That's right.
And we've had the pleasure of meeting a few times at some events, and she's phenomenal. She's going to get us going and get us all fired up, and I'm excited that you're here. Thank you so much, Devora, for coming through. Harold, as always, thank you for being here and hanging out with us and helping me co-host this whole event, because I don't got all the questions, and I certainly don't have all the answers, right?
Yeah, right.
I like to think I do, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep. I got that problem too, but together we'll make it happen.
All right, Harold. So, Harold, introduce yourself. Talk a little bit about what you do. Again, he's our co-host, but go ahead.
Yes. I'm co-host Harold Marcelin, and my whole thing, I'm everything insurance. So I am a licensed insurance adjuster for property, and I also a licensed life insurance, and I also offer some financial tips here and there for you to go ahead and protect your family's well-being, just in general.
And
Yes.
you're also a member of Spartan Cafe, right?
I sure am.
That's right. He was there from day one, as soon as I launched this bad boy.
Yep.
Just a quick heads up, Spartan Cafe, it's a social networking platform that caters to entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, seasoned business owners, freelancers, and doers and innovators. So we're here specifically to help those people who are into business or anything that you're doing. We help with getting funding. We help with getting business credit. We help you. We provide access. So anyway, we're doing these podcasts called the Spartan Standard so that we can help elevate both ourselves and to anyone who happens to be watching us. So I'm glad everyone is here. Devora,
Yes.
amazing Devora.
Yes.
Talk
Hi,
to
thank
us, man. Who are you and what you got going on?
So, gentlemen, Mark, John, thanks for having me. I'm Devora Wooden, and I'm the founder and CEO of DSW Strategies, and I'm hired to beautify lives. Since 2001, it's been my mission to support the unsupported or support people with vision that don't know how to carry it out, or people that's carried out their vision and moving toward their dreams, but they need some guidance or some organization or some exposure to get there.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So how long have you been doing what you're doing? And how long have you been doing it?
Okay, so I've been an entrepreneur, creative entrepreneur since 2001. Last year, I graduated undergrad with my business degree in business management. So it was always geared up in me. Um, High school secretarial, moved on to that role very fast. Graduated in '01 from Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then I just was like, how can I help? How can I beautify? The market was bad at that particular time. So I opted to stay in Charlotte and help small businesses get organized, get started.
Okay.
Then
So we're gonna come back to that because that's really important. But you
Yes.
said something interesting to me, and it's actually very, very unique. You said you want to help people. How do you help? And then you also added the word beautify. So what does that mean, right? So for you, how'd you come to that? And how does that play out?
Okay, so to me, to most people, beauty is skin, right? To me, beauty comes from the inside, no matter if it's coming from the runway or it's coming out of a beautiful home, right? So in my philosophy or in my experience, young African American entrepreneurs, um, moguls that are, just at the cusp of stardom, I help them carry out their tasks. whatever that may be. So everybody's different. Everybody's different and everybody needs something different. Okay, so right now, what am I doing? I'm assisting a 61-year-old artist who's been world renowned, but right now she's creating a holistic system. So right now I'm organizing the system, I'm organizing her thoughts, I'm organizing her products, I'm getting her bottling. So every project is different, but I manage and I carry out what my customers either don't know how to do, want to resource, resource out, or need help with. So that's what I've been doing for the past 25 years.
25 years. You that old?
25.
You don't look it. What you mean 25 years?
I'm only 26, but I've been at this
Prodigy,
for
huh?
a long time. No, I
Yeah,
already knew.
right?
I knew young that
So Harold, you're a bit of an entrepreneur yourself.
Yes. It's a struggle. It's a struggle only in the way of changing your mindset, because being an entrepreneur is definitely not a job as an employee type of thing. So, yep. And
So
I'm enjoying it.
so
yeah,
Devorah, you're talking about helping people,
right,
and everyone is different. So when
right.
you're meeting a client, right, or potential client or a client, is it that they already know what they need, or are you helping them flesh that out?
Well, sometimes they do. Most times they do. They have like a goal. For me, when I meet a new person that needs help, I go in with the first meeting is just to analyze, just to listen, right? To see what to listen and see what they need. And it's my job to kind of decipher not what they're saying, but what their goals are. So I take that main goal and I show them how to work their way back. If that makes sense. Like I
Yeah, it
teach them,
does make sense. You know what also makes sense?
right?
This is the life of, you know what else makes sense here? This is the life of an entrepreneur. You never know what's going to go down. Sometimes we have a fire alarm.
If I said I'm not even cooking nothing, but hey, you gotta
Yeah.
It's the life of an entrepreneur, man. Things come up all the time that we got to put out fires. No pun intended, right?
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
So no worries, man. This is what this is about. This is about regular, everyday people making good, amazing things happen for themselves.
That's right.
Right. Harold, do you have anything you want to ask? You want to ask
Yeah.
Devorah?
Yes. You were stating, because my thing was you saying you're beautifying and you're helping. Then you started to say the kind of people. So this must be extremely diverse.
Yeah, because
Like,
beauty for me, even my first store, it was Boutique 18 because it's not what I'm selling, right? It's the outcome of the concept that I'm helping to develop. And the beauty is within that, right? So whether I'm beautifying a talent, whether I'm beautifying an office space, putting in new, fixtures or whatever, or beautifying a home, at the end of that project, the person that I'm helping, inspiring, and motivating is going to feel more beautiful, whether it's the inside and or out. Their home is going to be more beautiful. Their thoughts are going to be more beautiful because it's been flushed out. It's been kind of like put into a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? When you're all over the place, when your stuff is all over the place, you can't even think, you know? So that's where I come in. And I've went from a WeWork, to a mom and pop, you know?
mm,
So
hmm
varies. Excuse me.
Do you still have mom and pop? Do you still have storefronts? Do you still do that?
So my storefront was back in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I did that between 2013 and 2015.
Oh, okay.
So I did that, and that's where I birthed the beauty of partnership, collaboration, and I also birthed my 3-piece perfume set because
All right, let's talk.
in
Yeah.
within those partnerships, just beautiful products came about. You know, the perfumier that makes my stuff. After I close my doors, I'm like, again, how can I beautify? firstly myself, because I gotta stay in tune with the culture and, what I'm doing, be able to rebrand myself, and look deep within and see what I really want. But then it's an outpour of beauty because I think that's what my assignment is.
Right.
So paint this picture for me for your brick and mortar. For every business, they go ahead and they decorate their office to represent what they're doing. Your beautification is not put in one area like makeup, so you have a bunch of makeup in your office.
Right.
How did you go ahead and outfit your office so that when they came in, they was like, this is what she does.
So, I think, okay, so when I was younger, right, I used to segment my house, and I used to have a store, right? So they would come up to the dollhouse, and every house or every office has a name. Okay. So this particular one was a dollhouse. So you come up the steps, and right at the stairs, you would have some wardrobe, right? Some jewelry, some material of what's coming next. And the space is laid out open and airy and minimal. So if I wanted to have a photo shoot, if I wanted to have a podcast, if I wanted to do something, intimate, it would be suiting. As I developed into an older person, I stopped coming into my personal space. I started going out. So that would be co-working spaces, your home, because now I'm representing you. You don't have to, I'm not working for me anymore to put the word out of who I am. I'm working for you. So you don't need to see my personal space.
Okay. So
Gotcha.
sorry about that. Yeah, I stepped on your thing there. Let me ask you something. So you originally was DSW agency,
Okay, so
and
let
now,
me break it down. So originally I was Dig Deep LLC, beautiful accessories for beautiful women, right? That was in '07. That was the same time I became the office manager and the financial officer for the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence. I knew very, very shortly after I started that I was going to be leaving. So I started my first brand that very year, doing a lot of styling, a lot of vending. Then I said, wow, I limited myself to only women. Then I added men to that. So now I'm doing vintage pieces for men, watches, and all that. Oh my God, I'm limiting myself again. Then I added handbags, right? So now I'm doing handbags and clutches. Now I'm like, damn, I'm not only selling, now I'm renting, I'm styling, I'm just trying to be, you know, beauty in a bottle. I'm a treasure chest, right? To me, in my mind, I'm a treasure chest and I have so much to pull out. So everything is different for me. And that's why I'm an entrepreneur. When I was sitting behind a desk or trying to, I'm doing my work by 1 o'clock, I'm spending 4 hours just trying to, look busy, right? In the corporate world, I'm just kind of sitting there hanging out, appeasing, my higher ups. Got to look appropriate, talk appropriate sometimes. I don't want to do that, right?
right.
I don't want to
Well,
fit the
yeah,
mold.
I do the whole hoodie thing most of the day, so
Yeah.
if
I'm a
I can help
beautiful
it,
person. I don't want to have to wear slacks. I don't want to have to do anything
that's right.
that dampens, who I am. 2012, I said, hell with that. I'm out.
Okay, all right. So now, do you have specific services that you list out, or is it pretty much just an overall sort of consulting service
I
along
do.
with along with products that you obviously
I do.
offer?
I have
Okay,
a list. So firstly, managing small businesses is where I make my bread and butter.
okay,
Okay. Consulting and business managing, like creative consulting and business management is kind of rolled into one because depending on your needs, you're going to need a website and you're going to need social media and you're going to need campaigns and things like that. Um, and I think along the way, I developed more of me. So I'm like, when I was doing fashion jewelry, I said, well, what do I want to be known for ultimately? A fine jewelry. So I created the Bendit. It's in production right now. 14 karat gold, Chanel boy bag, rose gold, yellow gold, and it's just built out of my past. right? It's built because I want to leave something out of my legacy and not mimic somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
My store, from, selling day in and day out and just understanding supply and demand, I said, I want to be unorthodox retailer. So I want to do something an urban Black girl wouldn't normally do. So I came up with a 3-piece perfume set, right? Beautiful, sexy. It speaks volumes. And that's just me, you know?
So you could also even operate as a stylist then.
Yes, excuse me. Excuse me.
No, take your
Yes,
time. No worries.
I've done that hundreds of times. Okay. Excuse me. You know what I really enjoy? I really enjoy, when I say like beauty, business, life, and style, the life and style part, the fashion part, where I'm leading beautiful women, or, I'm backstage, I'm dressing them, I'm accessorizing them, just leading a movement. That's where I thrive.
So
And,
where were you? So where were you in 2017, 18 when I had my model agency? I could have used you.
Man.
so 2017 and 18 was, well, I still represent a brand called The Narrative. Back then, I incorporated her. I did everything from the ground up. So in 2017, we were doing a lot of shows with the Jacob Javits Center. Like, we were just on the money, you know? So I was just busy beautifying her life, and then she became a professor of fashion. At the time, it's Jefferson College in Philly. And then, we kind of do it, but not as much, So now I'm like a mentor and I speak, and, so the relationships just get elevated, They don't die.
So I'm a
Especially the
young,
way you help them out, that's, in my business, those relationships do stand forever. I've got extra, christenings to go to now and graduations, and so that's where the reward comes from
Yes.
when you create those relationships.
Yeah. I prefer to have a professional relationship first and then move into personal, because it's a clear line of,
sure, it's
so
professional. Keeps
I
things
like that.
clean.
And I'm helping you regardless. So whether we stay
Yeah.
personal or, I'm going to be there for you.
So I'm a young entrepreneur, right? Excuse me, I'm a young aspiring entrepreneur. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I have great ideas. I want everything, right? I want to succeed. I want to make money. How do you get your clients? What do you do? How do you do what you do
So,
pay your bills?
so, being in nightlife is crazy to say, but nightlife, it has people watching you.
You know why I'm saying it like that? Pardon me
Like,
for a second. I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying it like that. Why I asked the question that way. Because I hear this almost daily, right? From young lions, basically, right? They are hungry. It's a generation of AI and instant access and abilities and all this stuff, and people are creative. But here's the thing, right? Um, the question is always,
mhm,
how did you do it? In other words, if it took me 30 years to get where
mhm,
I got to,
yeah,
on that 30th year, on that 8th month, on that 12th hour, where's my instant success? In other words, it took me 30 years of grinding, and
right.
then all of a sudden you see from the outside my success. And so the person's asking you, well, how do you get your clients? Well, I didn't start yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what's crazy? I've never been hungry for what I don't deserve. I never been
Okay,
like
fair
looking,
enough.
I know I'm already there. So
Amen.
whether I have the money or
I like
not,
that.
I'm gonna get what I want. For me, when I was younger, I did not understand the power of using somebody else's money, right? I took pride in using my own, right? I would work my ass off, and then that would feed my photo shoot, or that would feed something I want to do on the side. So I wouldn't even answer that question. I'll say, take my
Okay.
phone number, and in a year, call me, and then you'll be able to answer your own question, right?
Yeah, work.
Because for me, my needs changed over, each 7 to 10 years, my needs change, Oh, Jesus. Excuse me, guys.
No worries, man. Again, this is the real deal. This is what this whole entrepreneur thing is all about, right?
Yep.
We get
Yep. And that's what these days are now. Zoom.
You got 25 hats. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, stop it. No worries, man. This is not.
It's the journey, right?
Hey, listen, this is not CBS. We ain't trying. All we do is
CBS isn't CBS anymore.
yeah. Well, that's true too.
Doing a number on us, but we're not. And this is why we're building this, right, Mark? If I wouldn't have volunteered, and that's what I'm saying about the journey. I'm not a big volunteer for anything. My expertise is always paid for. But lately, I've had a shift in what I want and what I want to do. So I volunteered. I met Famala. Famala introduced me to Mark, right? Mark introducing me to you. And it's a community that we are building for ourselves aside from mainstream. And that's what I love. That's why I
That's
do what I do.
interesting. You say it that way. For me, I'm with you on that. I'm gonna, if I can piggyback on that a little bit
Please.
and add to it. We, doing what we've done for so many years and having so much ups and downs, successes and failures and things like that. I think it's really about access. I don't think there's necessarily an issue with hard work, although
Of course.
that's up for debate.
Right.
Certainly, though, the issue isn't creativity. It isn't
Right.
desire. It isn't for it isn't for being shy or anything like that. But most people we know are not shy.
I agree.
It's a lack of access. And what I mean by
It's
access,
money.
okay, well, you say money, but it's not so much just money, because I'll give you an example. This is what I mean by it's not just money.
Tell me.
A young entrepreneur or an older entrepreneur who's never run a business before,
Right.
never structured anything before,
Right.
just has an idea. And if I'm crazy, I just give him money.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Give him $100,000 today. Will he have that $100,000 a month from now? And what will he have to show for it? In other words, will he know what to do, or she, so that money works for them?
Right. I
And for
think
their
I'm a little
business.
biased. I think I'm a little biased because I'm only speaking on behalf of myself, right? I've been a sole entity for a while. And your business, Mark, I mean, you meet a lot of, personalities. So of course I absolutely agree with you. And right now this is what this is what I'm doing. I'm gaining access to some education, and the things that I didn't know. And again, with the journey, that takes time, right?
Yeah.
That takes time.
Let me jump on that because you're not giving yourself enough credit. All right. So we were at an event. No. Let me let me get it out. So
Okay.
a few weeks ago, we were at an event. We're speaking at this event, and I was speaking to a crowd, a group.
Yeah.
And both you and Harold were there, right? And I was making an analogy. Based in reality. Once upon a time, I was just operating as I guess you call me a high price consultant. And a business developer is really what it was called, consultant. And I was being hired out at $475 an hour. And I'm saying, people don't have access, especially if you don't have a rich uncle, or you don't come for money, whatever. Listen, you may have a great idea, but listen, if you have to pay somebody $475 an hour, that's a lot. And I said to the crowd, justly, right? I said to the crowd, right? I said, so look, I mean, seriously, are you going to pay $475 an hour? And what happened? She jumped up. I will.
Right behind me, made me jump like, hey.
Hello. You was like, you will?
And
listen,
I tell you what, I bring
that's how
that up.
much I believe in and myself. I didn't even I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm unshakable. I know what people need, and I'm just building a business out of that, Mark. Like, people
Well, I'll tell
need
you why, and
support.
I don't mean to cut you off, but let me just say this. The reason why I just brought that up,
Yes.
and relative to access, and why I'm saying you're not giving yourself enough credit, is simply because the fact that your mindset was like, yeah, if that's what's required, I'm going to get it done. And whether I have the money or not, I'm going to get this thing done.
Right.
It's
That's
happening.
right.
You're going to do what needs to be done. And you're proving that. You've been proving that for 25 years, even though you're only 26.
That's
You've
right.
been doing it, right? So your mindset
That's right.
will provide you with access. So that's why I'm saying you're not giving yourself enough credit, because you've been, as a famous comedian once said, you've been hitting nothing but net for 25 years.
That's right. You're right. You're
I'm
right.
not
And I
saying it's
give you
all,
another notch.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'll give you another notch. What was it, about maybe 30 people in the room
Yeah, roughly.
who we'd like to think need the services that were being offered, but you were the only one.
That's right.
You were the only one.
That's right.
I'll do that right now. I was like, whoa, okay.
I'm willing to bet it all, right? Life is not about messing around, especially if you know that you can make a difference, right?
You burn the ships. You don't have a plan B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a strategist, of course I have a plan B, but a C and D, but who knows? God only knows how all of this stuff is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? For me, I stay ready. I stay educated. Right now, I'm thinking about, I went to my college homecoming and my girl is like, you need to become a life coach. Like you motivate us so much. Like you move people. And I'm just like, oh, like I feel like I can do it. So I'm researching, but for it to come from a dear, dear person, a colleague, a clinical social worker, somebody that has met thousands and have made changes to hundreds of lives. It's an honor to know that I'm making waves. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I have so much more to do, which is why I took advantage of the Spartan, development
Yeah,
program.
sure.
You
Sure.
know?
Harold, you want to talk a little bit about the program that you stepped into, the app and the business credit builder a little bit?
Yeah. So Mark and I reconnected during
Hmm.
COVID as I don't know about any other neighborhood. I only live in ours. And as our whole neighborhood reconnected during COVID. So we all, our meeting place for all of COVID was at the neighborhood school park. And so a friend of mine that I'm hanging out with was like, man, Mark's coming through. Mark's coming through. And when he came through, it was like, oh man. But then he explained everything he was going, and I was you. I was like, oh, I'll pay for that. I'll do even better. I'll pay for
Immediately.
that right now.
He
Yes,
did.
hello.
I was like, I want
He
two of
did,
those.
actually. He did it
Yeah,
that day.
me, my wife.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and get that. And then that started
I mean, seriously, we were sitting
my
in the
journey
park that
joining
we grew up
him
going to.
in getting this
In the
together.
park.
But yep, in the
That's
park.
That's
In
right.
the park.
And he paid
Yep,
right
yep,
on the
yep.
spot right there.
Yeah,
That's
and it
true.
helped me because I do my, at that point I was trying to figure 2020 I had got my license in 2017, and storms were starting to ramp up, and I was figuring how I was going to get myself out there and also be the best and the most proficient being out there for people in times of need.
Right.
So when he, which means I personally just had to go above and beyond. It wasn't just the adjuster coming through to tell you, I'm going to put in so you can get this money to fix your home. Because when I leave, the home is still messed up. You still might not have electricity. You might not even have, especially in the fridge. So then I'll come through with, a makeshift meal, water,
Right.
sometimes if needed. And I even had generators sometimes. Hey, let me help you out real quick. We can sit here and see the whole house. And it'd take me about 2 or 3 or 4 hours to get this all done. But here's this generator, do what you can for right now and set the house up. And matter of fact, I'll come back tomorrow and pick it up. And Spartan helped me get a lot of that. Because it was, I think, early March or so, and then the next storm happened in August. The biggest storms happened in August, and it happened in the tri-state area. That I was able to put that into play because of Spartan, and it's not that hard, and that's my best experience with it. After that, I was like, man, I'm on board,
Right. Right.
until the wheels fall off.
That's right. For me, it's sex, I kind of took a step back since I've met Mark um to see what's next, right? I can continue door to door, service to service, but I'm so much bigger. So
Amen.
I
Yeah, say that
am
again.
taking through next year to strategize. I want to help our community in a bigger way, within the school system, domestic violence victims, single dads. I've just been just trying to see, you know, the biggest impact I can make, So that's what Spartan is going to help me with. Um, and I'm super excited. I'm super excited. So I'm just gonna keep working it. And I hope I'm not bothering you too much more. But I'm like, listen, this is
Okay, first of all, I
got
first
my
of all, I
account.
call you more than you call me.
You sure do. I'm like, should I bother him today, Dad? He be like, so I'm like, yes.
Like, yeah.
So I like to just throw one or two things out there about what we're talking about for clarity for anybody who's watching. So we're talking about Spartan Café, the social media platform, and within it, we have our business credit builder. And within our business credit builder, what we're really doing is providing access that's always been there. But it's the type of thing that, for example, whoever taught you about personal credit or business credit or investing principles or anything like that in elementary school, junior high school, or even college. I've spoken to any number of people who said, yeah, I took accounting in college, but they don't know the first thing about personal credit or business credit, right? They don't know the first thing about funding or business funding or finance or anything.
That's
And
right.
unless they went to business school or unless they had parents or a support system that raised them that way, you can be as creative as you like to be.
That's right.
But you know what happens with our people, right? Our people's idea of success, and it's nobody's fault, is basketball, rap, some type of
Yeah,
fashion, something in the
that's right.
entertainment industry, because that's
Right.
what's been available to us. That's what, see, the access.
That's right.
But what if you had access to a situation where you knew that you could build business credit based on your company's EIN number that you're barely liable to? What if you could, with one or two moves, for example, this happened to Harold. I don't know if he remembers this. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. He started with the business credit builder like right away. And within a few weeks, a couple of weeks, I think, he had set up his LLC, opened up his business account.
Okay.
That was it. And then one or two moves. And then we did one move while we're talking on the phone. We weren't even doing a video call. We were on the phone. I said, do this
Okay.
right now. Do this right now.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
filling out the online application. And he's like, whatever, I don't know, whatever. I don't know, whatever. And 10 minutes later, he got approved for $4,000.
The phone. It was like, bing. I was like, wait a minute. And we saw
Wait.
the 4,000 and we both just hysterically laughed like, wow.
Hey, you
But
see
it
how
was
this
just that
works?
quick. Mm-hmm.
That's
I had
so
another
amazing.
kid recently and I tell this story a lot. He set up his LLC, right? He just set up his business. I think it was in March.
Mm-hmm.
Set up his LLC. In April, he paid for the business credit builder, got all set up with the app.
Right.
It was March, April. By May, he had $111,000 associated with his business. He just started.
Yes.
When I say just started, meaning his business, he wasn't making money with his business yet. He wasn't out there selling a product or service. Not yet. He was trying to, but he instantly was able to access funding in a short amount of time before he got himself in trouble and needed it.
Right.
So I wanted to say that just for clarity's sake, and why we're doing these podcasts and why the Spartan Café exists. It's a private, exclusive community for people who are serious about achieving something, whatever that level of achievement is, whether it's business, entertainment, that they're freelancers, graphic designers. That's what it's about. But in any case, this is not about Spartan Cafe. This is about Devorah. So I want to talk a little bit more about. I want to circle back to the beauty aspect, because that's a whole philosophy and it's a very unique approach, but based on a solid foundation. Because a lot of times, right, if you look good and feel good, things tend to happen, right? Confidence levels, things like that. So
That's
can you talk a little bit more about that and how you came to it?
Okay. For me, as a business owner, I'm always going to be the first person to try whatever I'm delivering, right? Spartan, I'll be the first one to try before I express it to my family, friends, and colleagues, right? I'll be the first one to try, whatever. So I took myself as my first client, right? Coming from humble
That's powerful.
beginnings,
Guinea
coming from,
pig.
coming from humble beginnings. Mom didn't have a lot of money. Mom and dad didn't have a lot of money. Nutrition wasn't the best. Living things wasn't the best. And I didn't take it and like, oh, woe is me. I said, shit, I'm out of here. Like, what can I do firstly on the inside to help me through it? Right. Secondly, can I bring that same tenacity, stamina, resourcefulness that I already know I have and bring it out within my looks, right? Can I start doing my hair myself? This is 12, 13, 14. You don't have lace fronts and this and lashes and all, this is 78, 81, 85, So I started with myself. I started beautifying myself. And then my friends would come over like, can you do me? Can you do my hair? Can
Nice.
can you come and help me like learn how to fold my clothes or, do those things? And I was like, of course. Then, junior high school and high school, that's when the picking on you starts and stuff like that. At that time, I was maybe closer to 200 pounds. So I had to build up some kind of like, what is my thing that's different, right? What's my thing that's different? I pretty much look like every hood girl in Brooklyn. But it was my wittiness, in my neighborhood, we used to rank on each other a lot, hundreds and thousands of laughs. And with that, I developed, wittiness and confidence that nobody can really take from me. So again, junior high school, got to high school, got to college. I didn't know it sold. The first week they had an Apollo night. I said, damn, I'm scared, but I'm gonna have to do this Apollo night because I'm gonna be instantly famous. And I did it. And I won, and I was instantly.
Right.
And from then, people start
Wait, you
saying,
sang? What did you do?
I hip hop danced.
Oh,
I hip hop danced.
all right. Now we're talking. Okay.
I was 12 to 18. The first year I went to college, I hip hop danced all around New York City. Like I was thick as hell, but me and my girls, we were called Deadly Routine, and we was out here.
You did your thing.
Like, it was part of my self-discipline. People always tell you can't do this, you can't do that, you too big, you too, I'm like, man, I'm gonna show you.
Me. Yeah, don't tell me what I can't do.
Let me chime in because this guy here next to me.
No, we're not talking about that.
You were dancing. This guy was in Manhattan doing the same thing. This guy, man, we're talking. Well, if you don't know, our neighborhood pretty much is the Rocksteady crew and the breakdancing. Pretty much was all in our neighbors, Zulu Nation, and all of that. The West Side, La Familia. So it's almost like before we caught on to basketball, we was all dancing.
That's right.
We were all dancing. And this guy
wait.
here,
Not just dancing on the street, which although that's where we started. We started on the cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Get those refrigerator boxes. But we're talking about on tour,
So
music
Beef Street,
videos, the whole
Fresh
thing.
Groove, all those
So
things, the love,
all
or
of the
maybe
above. Right.
over and over and over again when, got the
Yep.
toilet booth. So y'all was all into that, huh?
All
Yeah.
into it, just like you was.
It got
It's an
so
honor. I mean, it's an honor to be talking to you guys.
so look,
Listen.
it originated right in the Bronx, but it was the Upper West Side where we grew up, where it kicked off and became what it's become now.
Hey,
There's a park not
understand
too far from where we live right now, where we used to call Rocksteady Park. That's literally
Rocksteady
where.
Park.
And so right
really?
now it's funny because you see people overseas. I don't want to talk about the Olympics too much because that was horrible.
Man,
You got to think
Listen.
though, it all started like right here where we grew up. And we were just kids out here,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And now it's a worldwide phenomenon. And it has been for the better part of over 40, 50 years.
You know the interview I did in January that you
Yeah.
put on this.
Yeah.
So of course when I arrived there are other people being interviewed and I met these two lovely gentlemen and they were touring around the world doing hip hop dancing and and I'm like, damn, back in the day it used to be all black people, not to say it like that, excuse me, but now, you know, they
Yeah.
were interesting, but it wouldn't be something that I could follow. You know what I'm saying? But the
I understand what you're saying.
transition, that's funny. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I mean, what I do love is the culture, how it's the culture isn't a race issue. The culture is its own culture. Hip hop is its own culture. It has
Culture,
nothing. I mean,
yes.
because if hip hop was about race, then
Yeah,
what's your
black or white,
explanation?
right.
Then what's your explanation for Eminem?
yeah.
Right?
I love him.
You follow what I'm saying? And it goes.
In America, and that big festival, it Made in America, right? It was so sold out. I know for me. So one year I finally went, and it was different because I assumed it would be more of my community, but no, it was more. It was more outside of our communities, and it was so beautifully intense. If you understand that,
Sure.
Little Uzi Vert came out, and I swear the world stopped. Like literally within that huge stadium. So yeah, it crossed boundaries that
Well, here's something
one.
that's cool. Here's an interesting thought. Some of the
Yeah.
things that were originated in the U.S. tap, jazz, blues, right?
Yeah.
Breaking, hip hop
Yes.
originated all
Yes.
here. And the
That's
list
right.
of what's amazing, this list is incredible, but we're included in that list.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So think about
Yeah.
that. That's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep. Yeah. How many times do you'll see, and it's worldwide now. So
Yeah.
you'll catch a documentary or some clips of breakdancing or somebody who the world thinks was important and who helped bring it to the forefront, and you look and it's like, holy cow! Look at my boy. I know that guy. I grew up with him. I
Yeah, we
know.
went to school together, right?
Yeah. We fought in the park one day because we live in the neighborhood together. So it feels great when that happens.
Did you guys just stop doing it, or did the
No,
passion?
after a while, everybody grew up
Well,
and
okay,
did different things.
that's a little bit, that's not really fair to say it that way. Like, for example, like I know why I stopped, but when I
Okay.
stopped, I got yelled at all the time for stopping because my boy Ken Swift
Okay.
is still out there traveling the world, teaching, doing his thing,
Okay.
and he's 3 years older than I am, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And he's still out there doing his thing. So, but I did stop when I was probably over 17 on purpose because I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting ready to go to school, get ready to do this, get ready to do these things. And I felt artificially, like Harold was saying, I felt like, okay, I need to start thinking about later. If I had a little bit, and I'm great, I'm grateful for the decision that I made. That said, 6 years later, 10 years later, I'm watching Ken Swift and these guys still going on tour, doing videos. And then they did an off-Broadway show and it was ridiculously amazing. And I'm like, I could have been doing that with these guys.
Yeah. I go through that sometimes too. I go through that. For me, it was basketball. After I, and I learned late so I was like, ooh, I can be good at this. Then, of course I had to put that to the backside. But I feel the same way you do at times. I look at them and I'm like, oh man, he did that. We did that move together. That was a routine of ours, man. But yeah.
But you know what, though? I'm grateful that I made the decision I made, because here's the thing. All of my brothers, all of my family, all these people that I grew up dancing with or hanging out with, and then everyone that I meet, I'm in a position now where I can help them in an area that they may know nothing about. They
That's right.
they can play at it, but I can give them very direct access and information that they can directly apply, not next month, next 6 months from now, but today.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I get
hopefully
that.
elevate, because here's the thing. They don't need help with creativity. You don't need help with ideas. You don't need help with brilliance. What we need, look, once upon a time we had 40 mules, what was it, 40 acres and a mule, and then they got taken away from us. So we
Mhm.
don't have the legacy of generational wealth because it was stripped from us.
That's right.
So we have
That's
to
right.
create it ourselves based on the system that exists today. And the system that exists today is so easy.
It is.
You just got to know what the rules are.
That's right. That's right.
And once you
That's
know that, then you can start building wealth, not searching for riches, but searching to build wealth. As a matter of fact, even better than searching for it, position yourself so that wealth finds you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I
And that's
understand
what
that.
this is all about for me.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
one
that's
last thing I'd like to talk about, if I could get into this a little bit, because listen, the world of the entrepreneur is not it's not all roses. It's not like some rainbow. Or as a matter of fact,
no.
maybe it is, because when you get in, when you step in a rainbow, you get wet.
Listen, it's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that perspective in mind, right? Talk a little bit about, let's not say failures, but the real road of the entrepreneur. So I was a professional athlete for a while. I was a squash pro for a long time.
Right.
And I did really well, trained really
Okay.
hard. And I remember the first time I won a tournament.
Okay.
And I was living in DC at the time, and I went to go see my dad, and I told him I won. And he says, "Yeah." And he was an athlete when he was younger. And he looked at me. He says, "I know what it is," because I felt depressed, even though I won the tournament. Looks sound
Okay.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
So my dad said, "Yeah, you feel a little bit of a letdown, right?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "You know what that's about?" I said, "What's up?" He goes, "See, for you train so hard. You woke up every day, right? I was at a squash court at 6 a.m, 6 days a week for 2 hours. Then I go eat, come back, and then I would go and train another way. I would train 6, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 2, 3 months straight, right? And have all these experience with my training partners and all this stuff. And you play this tournament and you have this letdown, and you realize, because it wasn't about, yeah, you want to win. So it's about that a little bit. But really, when I thought back on my squash career, I always think about those training sessions. I always think about that time that I got so tired, the guy wore me out and I fell out on the ground. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe because I was so tired. Right.
That's right. You like the journey. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm saying that to say this.
Yeah.
It's similar for the entrepreneur, where we're fighting so hard to reach that goal, whatever that is. And of course it keeps moving. And we're always concentrating on that. And then when you watch these videos and people are always talking about all their successes, how amazing, oh my God, you did that. And you're making what a month now? My God, all this stuff. But you didn't wake up yesterday, start your business. You didn't wake up on Monday, start your business on Tuesday, and started making $500,000 a month on Wednesday.
That's
Oh.
right. That's right.
So talk a little bit about that, if you will, at least from your own perspective. And Harold, you too. Talk a little bit about that, because, listen, I want people to understand that, look, we're all in the same boat.
That's right. That's right.
We're all the same, man. And we're all going through it from a different perspective, but we're all going through it. So can
That's
you
right.
guys talk a little bit about that?
See, I think somebody asked me a couple of months ago, like, how, if you could, from once, like, from, give me 100%, gauge how happy you have been with your entire life, right? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a good question. Initially, I'm like, initially, I want to say 100% because, I'm more egotistical. But, and I thought about it. I'm like, damn, there has been some drawbacks. The most important person in my life is my sister. And as soon as I started my life when I was 18, as soon as I went away to college, as soon as I got my footing, she get diagnosed with lymphoma. And that totally halted my mind, my body, my brain, my essence, everything. So I stopped and I went back home, right? That pushed me back a year. Really, it pushed me back 6 months because I refused to be out of school for a year. I'm getting emotional, but I that was my first drawback. And it continues today, not being a drawback, but sometimes my focus is my family a little bit more than it should be because of this long-standing illness, right? We're 11 months apart, right? She is my absolute best friend. I stay with her now because I want to be closer to her. I've been all over the place. I lived in Bushwick. I lived everywhere. But she's like, maybe you want to come close. So that's why I'm in Harlem. So, you know, I will, it will, my dying dream is to leave my legacy for my family and make sure they're okay because anything can happen. So my setbacks are her, right? And I'm not going to say it like that because I'm her advocate. I'm her
We know what
shoulder
you
and
mean.
things.
We know what you mean.
When things happen, I'm the person. So
No, we know what you mean for sure.
my drawback throughout this 25 years, I wouldn't say money, I wouldn't say anything external, right? Because happiness is not about that.
Yeah,
Um
well, yeah,
and I'm gonna, we thrive every day to do better. So what people don't know is that, you know, because I
yeah,
don't give them a
yeah.
chance. I'm really vulnerable. And I barely want to tell my story. So that would be, family, they they take up a lot of your heart space and your kindness and your resources and you know and those things. So right now I'm putting she's in remission. She's great. She's had it twice, 20 and 40, and we're 47 now. So we're in a clear. So now I'm really focused on me, and this is why I took advantage of the Spartan program, right?
Right.
I I'm no longer putting anything to the side for anything because I think I've done my due diligence, right? So now I'm taking this couple of months to refocus, and yeah, my legacy is gonna be bigger than I can even imagine. You
So
know,
it's so funny. You think about setbacks. Setbacks are not always a money issue,
no, it's
No.
not
right? And even to say the word setback is probably wrong, right? The phrase setback, maybe that's inaccurate,
a
right? But
refocus moment or something.
well, just things are there, right? Family sometimes it's things you can't even imagine. So
Yes,
thank you for sharing that. For reaching in and sharing that. That came from a deep place, and this is the reason why you're succeeding. This is why everyone who's watching this video, who has an opportunity to see you in action, needs to reach out to you if they need some help with their business or with their lifestyle or their style. They should definitely reach out to Devora. I want to thank you for doing that. Harold, you want to talk a little bit about that? A little about that area of that it's not all day success.
Right. And setback, I don't think it's not a bad word. Because my setbacks is my family as well. Um, and when you say setback, the reality sets in when you have to when and have to meaning This is my obligation, more than an obligation. I want to do this.
Of
And
course.
every time I had to go back, because I've been traveling, doing work forever, and then all I had to hear, it mainly started with my father. He started having some kidney failure. So, things were happening to him where you're in the hospital one time and I speak to you, oh, you'll be out by tomorrow. Okay, good. I can stay where I am because I'm doing a storm somewhere in the country.
That's right.
And the one time I was in Panama City for that crazy storm, and I was like, "Oh, you're in the hospital again? Okay, okay. Well, just call me when you get out because that's what it's been." And they called me and they were like, "We don't like the way he's looking, so we're gonna keep him here." And I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." So I headed back home, and this happened about 4 or 5 times in my career. And the reality I'm talking about is the setback, which wasn't important, but it is a setback, was me not
Yeah,
making money.
that's
Right.
right.
So setback is more of a description of, what happens when, you
It's
prioritize.
effect. It's an
Yeah.
effect.
Yep,
Again,
yep,
beauty,
yep,
it starts from the inside and then it cultivates, it's going to affect something on the out.
yep, yep. So let's since we're being vulnerable here, um, uh, what I thought would be a setback as far as, the business and everything, I thought it would be a setback. But one of the highlights of my life is that a friend of mine and I created a 24-hour cable network. And we were on air for a little
Yeah,
while.
that's right.
And during that time, things were looking great. I mean, we were ready. And then out of nowhere, not to go into the particulars of my family and everything, I'm from Haiti. My mother and father were raised in Haiti, and they went out there. My father's a preacher, so goes out to Haiti a lot to do clinics and build churches. And they went to do that, you know. And I'm high on life right now because I'm like, okay, this network owner thing's about to happen, and we're on air, and we're meeting with people, and they're loving this. And next thing you know, I hear that my mother got kidnapped for ransom.
What?
And so all of that was put to the side, of course. And it
Wow.
was one of the biggest things
In
to
life.
come out of you. And for everyone, thank God it was a 5-day ordeal, and it was on the week of my birthday.
Wow.
And we got her back. We got her back, and I couldn't quite get back on into La La Land that I just created for
Mhm,
myself.
mhm.
So that setback, as far as the show had to go on, and that wasn't that setback, but the setback was I quite couldn't get back to my jovial self, which I thought and felt could never be deterred because I was that guy where they're like, man, this happened to you. This happened to you. I've never seen somebody smile through that or get up and be like, it's all right.
Right.
That shit wasn't all right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I could do absolutely zero about it and whatnot. So that's like was one of my biggest, setback, if you will. But to we're kin in that, Devorah, where because I'm sure a lot of people tried to tell you too, you're doing too much for your family. You're not going to
Mhm.
become an adult because of your family. And for me, yeah, I heard it from a lot of women I've dated too. Is you're around your mother too much. You're doing too much for them. So now,
Those people are
flash.
out.
Oh yeah, long time ago.
Bye.
So fast forward to now, like you, after being 20 years in Florida, I'm back home.
That's right.
They need me. You understand? So I fully understand and we're absolute kin in
think I think that maybe this was for the best. I'm a
absolute.
glass half full kind of person. Um, I mean, it built me up to be unstoppable, really,
Mm.
fighting against the system, the medical
Yeah.
system, or, treatment, fair treatment, civil rights and all that shit it built me into, an unstoppable force, and I represent people that want to be heard. So I'm organizing them, I'm beautifying them, and I'm making them strong enough and beautiful enough to take on anything. You understand? Because that's what
Yes.
we. And I want to do more. I want to do more with our community, our younger girls,
Mm.
them, and I already got a plan for them. So I'm speaking in the Bronx on the 18th, and I'm going to do so much more. I'm
Make
going to
sure
do
you
so
send
much.
me that information because I'm going to
Yeah,
put
yeah, yeah.
all of
We
this.
have to go.
So I'm going to
Yes,
put that.
I'll say the flyer. This is my second year for their career day. Last year was phenomenal, and they invited me back, and I literally just became a DOE vendor
Oh,
yesterday.
nice. Very
I
good.
literally
Congrats.
Very good.
my
Very
way of.
good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So yes, that's where we are. So yes, lastly, before we get out of here, I'm a strong person, but I'm nothing without a Black man, right? Listen very carefully when you guys speak. I follow your lead, right? If nobody's told you guys recently, thank you, right? Thank you for the movement. Thank you for paying attention. Because most people are freaking oblivious. They're only worrying about themselves, right? This is not that. And Mark, thank you for taking the time out to get to know me and to hear me, and to work with me, you know?
Yeah.
So
This is
here
what
we
this is all about. You're helping me to give, not just give back, but to give. And I appreciate both of you deeply, intensely. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, so that you're sharing that, I just want to say this real quick.
Mhm.
We have all of us, and I don't just mean the three of us here, all of us have similar stories to the ones that you just shared. Um, Setbacks, and we use the word setback. Look, at the end of the day, we're always taught to persevere, to stay strong and keep going no matter what. That may be true, but that doesn't mean you always feel good all the time. Perseverance and feeling good don't have to be in sync,
That's right.
right? So,
Real-
and so that said, I'm grateful to both of you for sharing all of this, not just for me, but for anybody who happens to listen to this video. Devorah, send me the information on when you're going to speak. I want to place all of
Yes,
your contact, a way for people to contact you in the description of this video.
yes,
Um, Harold, thanks again for coming in here and sharing your insights and your wisdom and your discernment. Same to you,
My
Devorah,
pleasure.
for joining us. Um,
yes,
and until next time, everyone, thanks again
yes.
for coming to join
Thank
us
you.
at the Spartan Standard Podcast, and hope to see you guys again very, very soon. Well, we
Yes.
will see you soon in just a
We'll
couple of
see you in
days.
weeks. You will see you. Oh yeah, we'll see you Thursday. And
That's
don't
right,
forget
this
to
Thursday.
listen. I'm
Yeah.
Devora Wooden, beauty, business, life, and style, my beautiful people. Mwah.
All right, I'm in. All right, see you guys later.
All right, you guys.
Take care.
Take care.